We wanted to come today and speak to you a little bit about habits. We said we would. If you were on our workout on Monday, we said that we would come today and we would talk to you about why people succeed to a certain level and end up drifting back to their old selves.
And the thing is, one thing you'll find about habits, whether you have good habits or you've got bad habits, if you look at them on a kind of a daily basis, they probably don't make that big of a difference. Because if you wanted to get a little bit healthier, but if you eat a takeaway for one day today, it's probably not going to make a massive difference on the grand scale of it. But if you had a takeaway for every single day for the next 3-4 months, you probably will see a massive difference in your diet and your weight. And it's the same thing with good habits. If you work out today, you mightn't see a massive difference in your body shape. But if you were to continually work out for the next 2-3 months, you'll see a massive difference in how you actually look and actually how you feel. But when you zoom in on just one day, you think, it doesn't really make that much difference if I eat one takeaway or if I don't exercise today. But it's magnified by time.
So for those of you who don't know us, my name is Mary. This is my husband, Seamus. And we are always looking for ways that we can improve ourselves. Like, we are actually a little bit addicted to it. And we have really learned over the last number of years that success is actually a science and it's a process. And whenever you understand that, you can start to realize that you can do and be anything you want to be when you find the right vehicle and it's in alignment with what you believe, and you set goals that create a feeling inside of you. But that was not always the way for us. And everything that we share with you, we share from a place of experience. It's not something that we've just read. It's our journey to where we are today.
So it's something we learn and then we try and implement it in our lives and we see, does it work, does it not work? And if it works, we like to share it with people.
So what is today all about, and why do we feel that this might help you? Well, it's coming to the end of January. We're in the last week of January, and a lot of people start a new year with the whole new me, new goals, new year. This is going to be the year that I claim X, Y, and Z.
Would love to know, anybody in January, did you set new goals, and actually how long did you last at them before you maybe give up and you fell back into your old habits? Was it like a week? Was it a day? Was it 3 weeks? Or are you still going? Would love to know in the chat. Did you set new goals? Maybe you wanted to become a little bit healthier. You wanted to exercise. Maybe read a little bit more. Maybe sort of improve your education. How long did you actually last at it?
Because what we have learned, we used to set goals. We used to set these big lofty goals. We used to create vision boards, and we still do, but we do it very differently now. Because a lot of the time we get excited by the possibilities of a new year, but they don't really mean anything to us. And I would love to know in the comments when you're watching this, have you created a vision board, and could you tell me everything that's on your vision board? Or did you see things from someone else's vision board and think, yeah, I like that, I'm going to put that in my vision board, but it doesn't really mean anything to you?
Yeah, so is your vision board collecting dust in the corner of the room?
Because it's no good to you if that's where it is. But habits will dictate whether you move in the direction of your goals or further away from your goals. So say, for instance, if you set a health goal, and I always recommend, no matter what other goals you're setting, you set a health goal, because everything rests on our health. There is no point in you achieving this big, incredible position in your life balance, in your work, but you yourself are struggling with your health, so you can't enjoy it. So make sure that both are on the same wavelength. So if you have set yourself a health goal, but maybe you have already fallen off track, it's possibly because you tried to change things overnight instead of creating some simple habits that you can compound over time.
And they always say the easiest habits to create are ones that don't take a lot of effort. Mm-hmm. If you decided to do something in January, but it was going to take you a lot of effort, I always love the example, like if I were to say to Mary, we're going to do a challenge and I want you to do 200 push-ups every single day for the next month, most people probably won't do it. They might do it for maybe the first day, second day, third day. If they're really ambitious, they might do it for the full week. But most people will give up because it probably is like, do you know what? It takes too much effort for me to go and do it. But if I said to Mary, okay, I want you to watch Netflix for 2 hours a day, most people will be able to do it because you're able to sit down on the couch, turn it on, and it takes very little effort. That's why sometimes bad habits are so much more easier to keep And good habits are so much more difficult to try and work on.
So, say for instance now, because I speak to lots of you on a daily basis, and lots of you will say that you've tried different programs, you've tried different products in the past, and none of them have worked. Well, what you must realize is if they've worked for one person, they have worked. The problem is not in the product or the program, the problem is with you. And it's you, the way you see yourself, but also the habits that you have created, which are not moving you in the direction of success. So what's firstly very important is that you find like your goal needs to be in alignment with what you want. So if, for instance, I don't have any desire to be a fitness model, okay, it's not even on my radar. I want to feel strong and healthy and proud in my body. That's my goal. So if I was to go to someone and they were to prescribe a program to me which was going to get me in show shape, that's not something I'm going to stick to. So I'm probably going to say that doesn't work because I'm not committed to that. Whereas what I am committed to is making simple changes.
But that plan could work for somebody who's
Absolutely.
really determined and they think, you know what, I really want this. I'm going to make a decision that I am going to be that bikini body ready for the shows. And if they focused on it and they showed up like the person who was going to achieve that body, they would get the results.
1,000,000%. Because if one person has done it before, you can do it, but it's got to fit well for you. But our habits are literally dictating our future. They're dictating our success in life. Because what happens, so many of us, is that we do want to improve. But sometimes we just let our old self pull us back. So when you have a goal, what you must remember is you're stepping into a higher version of yourself. We set a goal, not for what we achieve, but for who we become in the process. So you're literally stepping into a new version of yourself. But the old you doesn't like that. So the old you wants to keep you where you are.
Change.
It wants to keep you where you're at. So it will try so hard to pull you back. So you may have set a goal that you're going to exercise 3 times a week. And maybe for the first week, you absolutely killed it. You did 5 times a week. Week number 2, you did 4 times. Week number 3, you've only done it twice. So straight away now, you're literally self-sabotaging. You're restricting you're holding yourself back from achieving your goals because you're starting to tell yourself you don't have time. Your body's tired. You'll do it tomorrow. So you're procrastinating. And then you will wonder in 3 months. So if someone started the same fitness program as you, but they stick to it, in 3 months' time, you'll be wondering, how did they achieve those results? And here I am like this. I need to find a different program because that didn't work for me.
I'm doing the same program as them. How did I not get the results? And we see that all the time. Like we have people come in and join. So we have our Shredder program that we have been running for over 3 years, I think now. It's probably our most successful program that we have. The results that people get in it are absolutely phenomenal. It runs for 10 days. And we see when people first do it for the first time, that first month, for that 10 days, they're super on it. They follow all the guidelines. They show up every single day. You can see them posting in all their recipes and they get incredible results at the end of the 10 days. But then what can happen is the next month, when it's the time for the shredded again, they mightn't be as consistent. They might do it every so often and then on the weekend they'll not follow the guidelines. And then they'll start to say, well, I didn't get as good of results this time. Then the next time they might do it and they might only do it for 1 or 2 days and they're like, no, it's not for me. And then after that, and they're like, I'm not getting the same results. I got incredible results the first time, because what happens is when you try something new, you're excited. It's like when you first go out with somebody and you first meet somebody, you're super excited. But sometimes if you don't work on the relationship, that can die.
100%. So what are some of the habits that you have? I'd love to know in the comments. What do you feel are good habits that you have? Would you say that you're very disciplined? Would you say that you're committed? Are you someone who walks the talk? So when you say you're going to do something, you do it. Or are you saying one thing, but really doing another? So the example we love to give is, are you someone who is actually going to the gym and working out? Or someone who goes to the gym, takes a selfie and checks themselves in when they go in, then goes to the water machine and takes a drink of water, sets the camera up, does a couple of squats, records themselves doing a couple of squats, then does a little story for Instagram, does a pose to see what way they look best, then maybe does a 5-minute little workout, and it's time to go grab a smoothie. What a great workout. Because you cannot compare the results that you're going to get versus someone who goes in there and actually works out.
Has got a detailed plan, as looking what their nutrition is, works out consistently. You can't compare the results. Like, both of them are working out, both of them are going to the gym, but the results will be completely different. And especially when you magnify that over time. If you look at it one day, if you go to just the gym and you don't work out as hard, it's not going to make that much of a difference. But if you continually do that over a long period of time, the difference between where you could be and where you will be massive.
So whenever you think about, for instance, money, if you were to start, we teach a jar system, okay? And it has really changed our relationship with money and our savings as well. But if we were to tell you to every week put €1 in a jar, okay? Every week from today right up until for the next 50 years, you're going to have a lot of money in that jar. So Seamus does that. He is very disciplined, and when someone tells him to do something, he's very committed. So he does that. He puts the money away every single week. 50 years time, he goes and he counts it. Versus me, who I'm like, yeah, this sounds like a great idea. And I do it for the first couple of weeks. Then I think I can't afford it this week, so I'm not going to put it away. But I'll do it again next week. But next week I don't put it away either. And then in about 6 months, I decide I need to get back into this jar system. So I start putting money away. But again, I only do it for a little bit of time and I stop. And I keep starting and stopping and starting and stopping and starting and stopping. 50 years time, I go and I check what's in my jar versus what's in Seamus's jar. And at the start, it didn't seem like it was going to matter. So what will I miss €1 this week? It's not really going to matter €1 this week. But it's not about what you do today that matters. It's about the consistency of doing it over and over. Because in 50 years time, let me just tell you, he's going to be a lot better off than I will be. Why? Because what was easy for him to do was also easy for me to do, but I created a bad habit around it, and I decided that today it won't matter, so I didn't let it build up. So the compound effect didn't show up in the first week, the first month, but over the course of the years, the compound effect of what Seamus did absolutely blew my results out of the water.
And the thing is, we always run from Monday to Friday, we run a morning call with our team, Wake Up and Win. And we've been running it since August last year. And it's difficult because, especially if you're not a morning person, like I definitely wasn't a morning person. I can relate to so many people when they're saying at the very start it was a struggle for them to get up in the morning, to set the alarm clock, to be up and downstairs and have their book and be ready and listen to us from 6 o'clock till after about 6:45. But people have been doing that consistently. We have an average between 40 and 50 people who are jumping on a weekly basis. And you can see the difference in them. There's so many people, as soon as we turn on that camera at 6 o'clock, people are ready. They're sitting there ready because since August until now, they've been continually doing that from Monday to Friday, and they've started to create that new habit.
But there's also people who've created a habit of coming on a Monday, missing a Tuesday, coming back on a Wednesday and missing a Thursday and Friday. So if they can get up on a Monday, you would imagine that they'd be able to get up on a Tuesday. But when it's the way our mind thinks that we think, I'm tired this morning, you know what?
I guarantee your mind, I always say your mind is the greatest salesman out there.
Yes, absolutely. So you think then, I'll do a Tuesday, I'll get up on a Wednesday. But it's like whenever I used to go to the gym, when I'd be on the treadmill, and some days I'd be really feeling it, some days I wouldn't be feeling it. But my non-negotiable was, if I had ever ran a 5K, then if I ran a 5K yesterday and I was on the treadmill today and I was thinking to myself, I'm too tired, I can't continue, I would not stop, because I in my mind would say to myself, you done it yesterday, you can do it today. You may be feeling tired, but that's no excuse because you did it yesterday. So that's the attitude you want to bring to your day, no matter what you're doing. You want to have that no matter what attitude.
And it's building that willpower. Like for me, as I said, I definitely was not a morning person. Mary was a morning person. From whenever I met her, she was a morning person. I was a person who struggled to get out of bed. I was lastminute.com, hitting the snooze button. But over a period of time, being surrounded by people who were morning people, I decided to give it my all, and it was difficult.
It was for me
It
too.
was really difficult. It was really, really difficult. The arguments, like mornings we had arguments, like she must get out of bed, she must get out of bed. Like no. And but I would say at night before I'm going to bed, oh yeah, set that alarm clock, I'm getting up with you. And then the alarm will go off and I go, oh my God, I just felt like I've just closed my eyes. I can't get out of bed. I'm too tired. I'll get up in half an hour.
That used to drive me crazy.
It used to drive me. But I had set the intention before going to bed that I was going to get up and I was was like, do you know what, I'm going to be too tired. I'm never going to be able to get up in the morning. But now, because that habit of doing it consistently for like 3 years, probably 3 years, would we be doing it?
I'm doing a lot longer, but yeah.
But probably me for about 3 years, doing it consistently for about 3 years. Now, as soon as that alarm clock goes off, like I'm jumping up out of bed. I don't even feel tired because I've created that healthy habit. It was really difficult at the start. There was days I didn't get up. There was days I did get up. But over a period of time, I started to get a little bit better at it.
So I want you to think about this. What do you really feel is a habit that's not serving you? Okay? What is a goal? I want you to pick one goal that you have for this year. One thing that you'd love to achieve. And what do you feel is a habit that's preventing you from moving in the direction of that goal? Because it's very easy to fix that. And we're going to talk about that next week. But I want you to really think about that. And if you're brave enough, I'd love you to post in the comments.
Are you somebody who maybe starts something but doesn't continue? Like, are you always starting something new because you like that excitement at the start? Because that can be a habit. Are you always looking for that shiny object because you always need something new, because that's when you're most excited, when something new comes in. But when you're doing it a little while, you're like, oh, do you know, I'm bored of this. I need something different. And you fall back into your old habits.
Because it's all about awareness. And when you're aware of what you're doing that's not serving you, then you can start to change it. So for instance, one little tip that I always give is one of my bad habits is not drinking enough water. So what I try to do is every time before I go to eat something, if I go to eat something, put something in my mouth, I'm like, I gotta have a glass of water first. So I become aware of, am I actually hungry? Am I just eating this for the sake of eating? And I'm also becoming aware of, I haven't drank a lot of water today. So it's little touch points like that. But also what I believe, which has worked really well for us, is not trying to change everything overnight. It's about becoming that 1% better every day. Lots of people message me and they say, oh my God, Mary, you are in great shape. How did you do it? That is the compound effect of 20 minutes of exercise followed by living by the 80-20 rule, doing our shred once a month. So it's not that I woke up one morning and that was my body. It's the compound effect of doing it consistently day after day after day. So even when the likes of Christmas, we go off schedule, we don't have the same routine that we have, your body quickly comes back to itself because you're conditioned, your body's pre-programmed then. So when we started to get back into routine, my body started coming back to the way it was. It felt a little bit bloated after Christmas and sluggish, but that didn't last. So it's what are some of the simple changes that you can make today? But you've got to first decide what is one of your top priorities for this year that you want to move towards? And then what do you feel is holding you back from achieving it? What are some of the habits?
And the thing is, you always say with a habit, it's very difficult to change a habit. That's why you've got to try and replace it. So if you've got a bad habit, if you just try and stop that habit, it's very difficult. But if you have a bad habit and you're able to change it for a better habit and you work on the better habit, it's a lot easier to keep going. So for instance, if it is for Mary, for the water, if she's not drinking enough water, for her just to say, do you know what, I'm just going to drink more water. But if she has created a habit, every time I go to eat something, I start to create a habit that I drink water. Mm-hmm. It's a lot easier because she's replaced a bad habit of not drinking any water with a good habit of every time she goes to eat, because she's still always going to be eating.
Yeah, I'm not going to stop eating.
So every time she goes to eat, she starts to create that mental picture, okay, I need to drink some water.
So for you, what does that look like for you? But it's going to look different for us all, and that's what you need to realize, and that's what you need to understand, that there's no one size fits all. But it's when you become clear on your goal, you become clear on where you want to go, and then you become aware of the habits that you have that are preventing you from going in that direction. That's when we can help you. So next week, so I want you to really think about that. And I'd love if you're brave enough to, comment below, share with us what are some of the habits that you know you have that you'd like to overcome, and we'll not name you out loud next week, but we will help you with the solution and turning that from a bad habit into a good one. So hope you found value in this. If you have, make sure and share it and tag someone in it, and we will see you next week as a follow on from today.
Thanks
Take care,
very much,
guys. Bye
Thanks
bye.
for joining us.